What up, y'all? So this rant, I guess, is gonna be gun related, but first the program, went in, did my morning cardio again. Got chicken. I am taking a little bit of carbs with a slice of French bread. So program's going well. I had legs last night. Pulled pretty good numbers. Pretty happy. I've been really focusing on holds, on my squat, doing pause squats to work on really engaging the legs and feeling that burn and that stress. So program's still climbing. I hit 485 for 3 pause sets. The second and third one, I started to feel myself roll forward, so that tells me that's the top end of that for now. But I've already made, from when I first started doing it about 2.5-3 weeks ago, I've jumped from rolling at 425 to rolling at 435-ish to rolling at 485 now. So we're making progress. We're making good gains. Leg press was about, I think we hit 1240 yesterday, which that's not a big crazy number because technically your leg press should be 2 to 3 times better or bigger than what your squat is. So we're in the right range groups for the leg press, which is good. So we're all heading in the right direction for everything. So we're moving. The other weird thing is this. So the last 3 weeks is when I hit my 280 pounds. So the last 3 weeks, my workouts have been getting more intenseful, which is always better. Numbers are getting good. I'm getting consistency in there. But my weight's not dropping, but I'm looking better. So I've been stuck at 281, 283 pounds, sometimes down to 280 even. But my shirts are fitting better. I'm not top shelfing as bad as I used to. So that's the interesting part. So that tells me that maybe something's going in the right direction. I'm gonna stop focusing on the scale and just start focusing on what's actually working and body composition. Because like I said, my 2X shirts are starting to fit better. I'm starting to actually get I'm starting to get stretch marks again. So stretch marks in the arms, I'm getting stretch marks in here again. I'm actually getting stretch marks on my back, on my lat and rear shoulder area from lat development. So I'm getting stretch marks, which tells me I'm getting really good growth. And again, I'm not taking any type of TRT or any of that stuff. It's just the way that the program is breaking up. And my food isn't even 100% yet, which tells me once I get 100%, how much better everything's gonna be. And then throwing in cardio is gonna be a big factor too. So that's gonna help with everything. So it's all baby steps, but we're heading in the right direction with those baby steps, which is really nice. So the rant, the reason why this is on is I got into a conversation with a guy that I've known for a short period of time. He's new to the gun community, or I guess to say he's new to the concealed carry in my state, which I'm not a big fan of. In my state, you no longer have to take a class or get certified or a permit to carry concealed. Anybody in my state can either carry open carry or concealed carry with a new law that just passed. Now, I'm all for the Second Amendment, but I'm more for an educated society when it comes to firearms. Firearms already are on such a barbed wire fence that we really need to really make sure that we are covering our bases. And I think a lot of times guys think that because we can carry, we should just automatically carry without really thinking about the other half of things. When you come to that point and you are to that point where you break that trigger on somebody, nobody really takes the time to consider what happens afterwards. You know, you are gonna go to jail. You're gonna get your gun taken away, and now you have to fight for your freedom. And I don't think a lot of people really take time to consider that. And a lot of people are just so rushed. Like I was talking to this guy yesterday, and he was like, first of all, it's the weapon system that he picked. And then second of all, it's his attitude, his demeanor. It's, well, I fucking wish somebody to dare me. I ain't got a problem burning someone down. And that right there tells me that you are fucking timid and scared, and you are going to cause a horrendous incident and not be prepared for it. He doesn't train very often. He trains probably every few months, and he shoots half a box of pistol rounds, and he doesn't train how he carries. Now, these are all issues I have big issues with, plain and simple. Nothing drives me more nuts when I go out to the shooting range and I see people practicing in an open carry state. Okay, they practice with an open carry holster, a thigh holster, just outside the waistband, and then when they're loading up, they switch to a concealed inside the waistband holster. And it's like, why are you not practicing how you carry? If you're going to carry concealed, you need to practice that way, because those are reps that you do not know. Under stress, you're going to grab your shirt, you're just going to have a lot of issues. So you need to build as much repetition without even thinking about it to be able to work under all sorts of garments and clothing. Now, I do carry an open carry holster when I go shooting, but the difference is when I carry an open outside the waistband holster, I still end up always wearing either a jacket or a button up over the top of it, and I'm constantly working through garments. But I will switch back to my inside the waistband holster and do a majority of my work. The reason why I train outside waistband is because when I'm hiking, I carry outside the waistband, but I generally always have a Dickies button up, or we're gonna have a jacket. So I want to build those repetitions into my process, into my subconscious. And so I hate that. Another thing I hate to see is I carry 1911 and I carry one in the pipe with the hammer back. Now, my holsters that I build are to help keep the safety engaged, because I always hear all the time people bitching about the 45, about the 1911. So create a system that allows you to have greater safety out of it. So what I did was, on my holsters, if you don't put it in safety and you put it in the holster, it automatically clicks the gun into the safety position and it holds the safety there. I milled and molded my holsters to do that automatically. I mentally do it every time, but if for some weird reason I don't, the holster is my backup to get the gun back engaged into a locked position. If someone else is wearing my inside the waistband holster and they forget, it ensures that they are now covered because it put it back into safety. But what I see people run holsters that don't allow for that, or they have a snap over the hammer, and they'll train without ever snapping it, or they'll train with the gun with the gun off of safety. And they'll drill and they'll drill and they'll do admin drills and all that stuff, and they don't move when they do magazine changes. Just so many things that you could be doing better to not waste your time. If you get into engagement, and this is one thing I found, because again, I started that way, it'll progress to a much more dynamic style of shooting, is looking at reports from, again, and like I said, I pull my information from civilian shootings, undercover, and off-duty officers. And so I look at what happened, their movements, because all that's all detailed. So I look at all that stuff, what happened, their movements, cover options, different stuff. And then I start breaking it down and thinking, okay, what is something better? What do I see that are common winning factors? Maybe, I look at what they did to win that battle. It's movements, it's this, it's that type of training. So that's what I've shifted my training to, and it's made a dramatic difference in confidence in shooting and the abilities that you can create from your weapon system. So I don't shoot paper target, I don't shoot paper plates, I shoot silhouettes. We shoot moving, we work on recreations of situations. I will create my hallway. In my house, the way that the house is set up, I have a long hallway, it's an L-shaped hallway. At the end of the L is my bedroom. The first straight path, at the end of that first hallway, my kids' rooms are on each side. And luckily my kids sleep on opposite ends, so the center of the hallway is clear. You make the L and there's my bedroom at the end of the hallway. So for me, if someone breaks into my house, I have to dominate that hallway as quickly and as proficiently as possible. So what I do is I create my hallway when we go shooting. I work on moving. I create my bathroom door, my office door, the kids' doors. So when I go shooting, I simulate that path, and then when the kids aren't home, they go to their grandmas, Heather and the kids go to their moms, I simulate it again in-house with the weapon system of choice. Yes, I have walked it through with the AR, and no, I do not like it. I will prefer to use my pistol because of one-hand manipulation. I can touch somebody, I can move somebody, and then still engage with one hand efficiently and proficient. I don't have to worry about a struggle match of me sticking my barrel into a room and someone grabbing my barrel, and now it's a fight for my weapon system. I can fire from up close. I can fire from here. As long as I clear body mass, I can fire. So when I hear people say they use their AR as their home defense, it makes me really cringe. I have seen the devastation of what those rounds do through drywall, and it will go through houses, plain and simple. That close, you're gonna be in rapid fire, you're gonna hit 3 rounds, 4 rounds. What happens if 2 of those rounds misses or 1 of those rounds and they start going through your neighbor's house and you clip a neighbor? Are you prepared for that? Have you thought about that? Okay? So that is why we've set up this shotgun. That's why we set up our pistols. Now, if I can, I will go to the 20 gauge. But that is my wife's primary too. So I have to make that decision. Do I want to have backup with my wife having a 20 to protect the kids in case something happens or I need support? Okay, so I train in those fashions, and I believe that people need to as well. Now, the issue I had was the individual that bought the gun does not carry it very often, and he went and spent god-awful amounts of money on this weapon system. So he bought an Agency Arms Glock, I think he said a Glock 19. Okay, he spent $3,100 on this weapon system. It comes with comes with your glass on top. It's like a 3.5 pound trigger. It's come with a ton of custom work. And then he bought an appendix holster for it as well with a caddy. Now the problem is this: you now have a weapon system you don't train with, that you don't really know. You're not even proficient in irons, and you're automatically going to skip to glass. If that glass breaks, how do you train? Do you train? Right? So you're skipping steps on your initial training, which is to me a big issue, and I hate to see that. The other thing is you're working now with a gun with a really light trigger over a stock striker trigger or a stock trigger. So when you're going to draw, what happens if you are impatient, you have bad form, and I see it all the time, people go and they pull their guns, and where's their finger? On the fucking trigger as they're pulling it. So you take a great chance of shooting your dick off or shooting yourself in the leg as you pull, or even belly shotting yourself, because you're not putting the time in for training. I have no issue with the weapon system. I think it's great. I'm not a Glock guy, but I do find it sexy. I wouldn't buy one, but I do see the appeal for them. But he bought it for the hype, not for what he actually needs it for. And that's my problem a lot of times too, is I hear people buy guns for name and hype, and I'm like, well, what are you going to use it for? Or how did you make your decision based off of that? I look at my guns when I buy guns for a coverage area. Okay, this gun covers me here. My 1911 is generally my day gun because it doesn't have a rail. So at night, I want to be able to have light options. So my Springfield comes into play because it has a rail. Now, yes, I can carry an additional flashlight, but I don't like a ton of shit in my pockets. Plus, I don't have to carry an extra magazine at night because my 40 carries enough rounds for me. So I then can switch my Kydex holster to an inside the waistband with a light mount with my Surefire. Now that I can carry inside the waistband with a light, with a high capacity pistol, covers my bases for night options, covers my options for day options with a 1911 and a second magazine. My AR covers its coverage for distance. My shotgun is for that close threat when I need to really make a big issue. So set your guns up to cover your coverage so that you're covered all the time. Spend the time and the money. If you're going to buy these guns for defensive use, then fucking defend them and start using them as they're supposed to be. Take the time to get educated. Go to your local gun clubs. Go down to shooting ranges. Find police officers. Find ex-military and ask them questions. There's so many options on YouTube out there. Follow people that are in close quarter training or non-Kevlar, non-body armor style training. Because again, you're not going to train with body armor on, or you're not going to be in a live fire shoot with body armor. Chances are, okay. So don't train that way. It's cool to do it, but train as if you are going to be in that situation. Okay. So that's my biggest rant for the day. Train like you fucking mean it, like your life depends on it. Don't waste your time and get shit that's right. Peace.